Feel like a brand new person.
What is the deal, beautiful people? It's your boy Ramon. Lifestyles Defined. Let's talk about the Google Pixel and the Google Pixel XL. I guess that's the thing to do. Add an XL onto the name. Let everyone know there's a larger version. I'm not mad at it. It's better than a Plus. But anyway, what Google is doing here is very confusing to me. This is a premium device. We should all know that, and this is different than what we've seen in like a Nexus, where it's been, it was manufactured with the concept that it will be an affordable device at heart, but still offer a premium touch, many premium features, yada yada yada. This thing here is a premium device. What I mean by premium device, this will cost you an iPhone 7. Now there's a very distinct difference between the two, and it's confusing to me because it seems like Google's making a shift away from what I thought was the core audience of a Google made phone. But then again, the concept of a Google made phone is its own thing, right? I guess the Pixel is a Google made phone, like we've seen with their Pixel laptops, and that's their own in-house hardware. And then the Nexus is a program that they had in conjunction with an OEM. But it's still sort of confusing to me, and I still don't like it. It doesn't smell right, especially when HTC has designed the Pixel. So it's like, what do you mean it's Google made? Like you're still having someone else make the phone. What's the difference between this and the Nexus or the Nexus program? I don't know. There's a lot of questions I still have, and even when we start to get into a lot of what makes the Pixel and the Pixel XL unique, perhaps from a Nexus device, none of that stuff's going to be available on Nexus, or it hasn't been announced yet, because the Pixel will be the first phone that's launched with Android 7.1. Google's not saying if the Nexus 6 or 6P will get any of these features that we see here, but let's see what happens. I don't think they'll do that. I really hope they don't do that. But anyway, let's get into specs of this guy. It's running a Snapdragon 821, and for the keen-eyed in the audience, that's one more than 820, which is probably what we've seen in every phone this year. So it's brand new hardware. 4 gigs of RAM, which I think is fine. It's always been the case for a device that's running just a vanilla version of Android, no crazy UI or skins to push. There'll be 2 sizes on the display. In fact, something to know, the only difference between the regular Pixel and the Pixel XL is the size of the display and the size of the battery. So that's cool to see. They're not giving people the finger like Apple with the versions between the regular 7 and then the 7 Plus. You get a few more features with the Plus. So yeah, you get a 5-inch display, 1080p, Gorilla Glass 4, and then on the Pixel XL you get a 5.5-inch display, UHD, and Gorilla Glass 4. The battery on the regular Pixel is about 2,700 milliamps, and the battery on the Pixel XL is about 3,500 milliamps. And you got the rapid charging via the USB Type-C. Your storage options are either 32 or 128. What the hell happened to 64? Why not just start with 64 and 128? I don't know. They're saying it's IP53 rated, not 57, 53. So I guess that's like dust resistant and maybe some small sprinkles. I don't know. It comes in these very interestingly named colors. So you got quite black, which is a black and gray contrast. You got a very silver, and then you got a really blue. I mean, there's not much more to it. The cameras, Google is really the front camera is an 8 megapixel camera, so that's something that we've really seen. We've seen it once or twice in the past on some other phones, but very rarely in today's world. But that's fine. Front facing camera with 2.4 megapixels. Maybe that'll push Snapchat over the edge to making Snapchat a lot less worse on Android than it is on iOS. And the camera on the back, Google's making some wild claims. This is the best cell phone camera, yada yada yada. 12 megapixel f2. They use some website, and there's some rating that it exists, and I don't really pay much attention to it. And I'm into photography, and I don't care about where you get your paid accolades. It doesn't matter. We will be the judge of this when it comes out. I wouldn't say I'm worried about the camera not being the best. I'm just like, I know your track record. You know, with the Nexus 6P and the 5X, they really stepped it up. Capable cameras on these guys. When I do use the camera on my 6P, I never really have a problem. But I wouldn't go as far as to challenge somebody like Samsung or Apple. But this is what Google is doing. I think this is what they needed to do, because this has been the downfall of Nexus phones for a long time. Was always the camera, and I always felt like that's how they really got the price down on Nexus devices, where they skimped on the camera. Maybe that's the difference here. Now that this is a Pixel phone at a premium price, you get a proper camera. I don't know, we'll see. But overall, I gotta say, this is a very familiar feeling for me. Watching the reveal of the Pixel and the Pixel XL, looking at the specs, looking at the design. I think the design is fine. Does it look like an iPhone? Yes. I mean, whatever. How much more of a unique silhouette do you want from glass and metal these days? But I remember feeling this way when the first time I saw the 6P, and then I got it, and I was like, oh man, this is a dope phone. And the design is not what made the phone dope. I always thought it was the experience of just vanilla Android, being able to read about a new feature and get it the week after, and I think they're pushing that along here. In fact, I may believe that this is the most elegant Google phone I've ever seen, and I want to include the Nexus in that. I think this is a dope look, but I'm just not excited. You know, who knows? Maybe I'll be just as happy when I get my hands on it, but I don't feel there was anything from a hardware stance that's really a shocker. Now, the features I was talking about is that new Google Assistant, and I think the Google Assistant's dope. As long as you don't mind letting Google run your life, I think it's dope. I think it could be a killer feature, and especially if Google keeps that thing exclusive to Google-made phones. Again, and you see where these questions in my mind are coming from. What is a Google-made phone? Is it part of the Nexus program? Is it only Pixel? Will Samsung get to use this new Google Assistant? Because essentially they replaced Google Now with the Google Assistant. So I don't even know. I don't know what's going on. We're gonna have to wait and see what happens. But overall, I felt like Google did what they needed to do with the hardware. I think this is a device for Google loyalists, Google enthusiasts. I don't think this is a phone that will challenge anything in particular when it's on the shelf at an AT&T store. In fact, it is a Verizon exclusive. I don't even understand where that came from. Did Microsoft not make that mistake one too many times? But yeah, I feel like it's dope. I wouldn't say anything particularly bad about it. I'm not particularly excited. You guys let me know in the comments. Did you see this? Did you get a load of it? What do you think? Are you gunning for it? You guys out there with the V20s and the exploding Galaxy S7s, would you trade that in for a Pixel? I don't know. Let me know. I'm out of here. Peace.
From the deep forest.